Hello everyone, this is Chapolini again with yet another shoutcast. Today we have the Mista, arguably the best player around at the time, playing against MG Arrow, also a very strong 2K player, I think top 5 at the moment. And yeah, both of these players are playing on Anatolia, which is in some ways an edgy map, in some ways a map which is good for aggressive civilizations. So yeah, we'll see how this turns out. We have, well, Egyptians have the advantage here just that they can spam docks, which are really cheap, and which can always protect their fishing here and here. And well, if you place basically a dock next to every fish pond, it'll be impossible to get harassed without without being protected by their docks. And on the other hand, Norse have the advantage here that they typically tend to be the civilization that has more units out and that can control gold, and all the golds are in the middle, as you can see. Only the two small gold mines are here. We have the priest of MG Arrow moving up. He is possibly trying to stop a dock from going up. Is he going to do any damage? Well, he sees this now, but he prefers to attack the dock. He doesn't want to harm the poor Sark, I guess. So, no harm done. And, yeah. Anyways, let's look at the map. It seems to be slightly favored for MG Arrow just because of these two town centers here, which are protected by this huge cliff. It's pretty hard to access for the Mista. And on the other hand, you have 4 of the 6 gold mines, which are a bit closer to Mista, and yet again protected by this cliff. And only 2 which are more close to MG Arrow. Anyways, what is Mista? He seemed like he got housed there for a second. Maybe he didn't, I don't know. Probably the Mista never gets housed. I don't know. He's obviously very good. And so he built his first dock here on the left, and it looks like he's going for a second one on the other side. MG Arrow built his first dock on the right, and he's building a second one on the right as well. He is happy to just control one side of the map, I guess, and the Mista probably wants to try to fight for on both sides. And he does very nice. He spots the villager. He runs back just to make sure that the villager cannot prevent him from building his dock, and he's probably going to place it somewhere here. And well, I cannot go back, otherwise we'd see if MG Arrow did even really see Mista coming by or not. So he does place the dock here. He does have to be careful because when this villager is done, no, he's building a house, he's not walking back. So this dock will go up, no problem. And yes, so far 5 fishing ships for MG Arrow, 5 as well for the Mista, so no advantage yet. Typically, Egyptian players are a bit slower in the very start on water maps just because they don't start with any wood, and they don't really need, well, they need to get gold as well, and they start with 100 wood, which is enough for 2 fishing ships, but they don't start getting gold that quick, wood that quickly. Anyhow, what is what is going on? Is the Mista? Yes, he's building fishing ships as well here, which is nice. I mean, he probably will want to place a dock down here or down here just to make sure that he has this side secured, and if he can get some fishing done on this side as well, that will be really nice. Anyways, it seems like the Mista has a lot of gold, 200 gold already, and there's no real use for gold this early in the game. And yeah, he does get a second Ulfsark out now, possibly just because he wants to build the temple with this Ulfsark and build more docks or even walls with the other one. And yes, it seems it's going up somewhat quickly, and I think he'll have the food to go up straight away. so he'll probably look at a 4:30 advancement time. MG Arrow, on the other hand, is he? Nope, he has not started docking this side yet. So he just has 2 docks here. He's looks like he's going for a 3rd dock on the other side. And so I'm reaching coffee. Does he? I think he sees this dock now. Yes, and he's going to attack it with a single villager, which is possibly a waste of time. And but he does have enough gold to place a dock of his own down here. It's just such a good idea to place docks everywhere with Egyptians, because you get fish faster, and you protect your fishing ships better as well. So I'm surprised why he's not putting down any more. And yes, he's going for a very quick prosperity. I'm not sure what that's all about. I guess it's because he wants to get more docks out. Yeah, I don't like this dock placement. This dock, well, then again, I guess if he wants to be aggressive on this dock, it might be nice to have it here, so that if there was any sort of water fight going on around this dock, then if Mista were to get ships out, they would be attacked by this dock as well. So, but in the long run, for eco purposes, it's better to have placed it here and then have placed another dock here. But then again, this one does cover this one and this one somewhat nicely, assuming that MGO will be able to win the side, and I think he should be fine, seeing as the Mista isn't even bothering putting up another dock on this side. And the MGO are going up fairly quickly, just as quickly as the Mista really. Mista going up with Freya. It seems to be the standard god for Odin. What's the other? Heimdall. Heimdall, I think is his name. Just isn't that popular choice. His myth unit isn't as good, and his upgrades aren't that good either. So his god, both. Well, I prefer the Heimdall god power. Though I think maybe on a water map forest fight it's not that bad, just because you can, disturb the wood economy of your opponent a little. Sometimes you can pick off a building or a unit. And anyways, what is the Mista doing? He's getting out some hearse here, which is normal, I guess. He's taking out the obelisks, which makes sense. This is a nice relic, free food. And he's getting out some ships. And the Sphinx is already attacking, so I think it's actually not going to be MG Arrow putting pressure on the dock of the Mista. Well, the Mista has 2 docks now, but more the Mista trying to prevent MG Arrow from getting a peaceful fishing time, I guess. And there's no further buildings on land, and just the Mista building ships here. MG Arrow, on the other hand, is going for fast heroic. Yes, he does have the army out. He's already up, and he should be down a very quick heroic at 7:30. Maybe he'll want to do some kind of push early on. We'll see what if the Mista knows about this. Let's see what his fog of war. No, he has no idea. He should move in this Raven just to know that fast heroic is incoming. Then again, seeing that MG Arrow is not building any units, he should probably expect that that a fast heroic is incoming. I think there's no other real strategy apart from maybe building up a classical force and then trying to take the gold mines straight away, maybe with a tower. So, but no. I think the Mista knows something is up, and he has 5 ships out now. I think he's going to be fairly successful in dealing a lot of damage to the Egyptian players' food economy. And a forward fire does come in. I don't think any villagers were lost here. Or is that a corpse? Is that 3 corpses? That would have been That would be surprising. Here, but as you can see, these ships can't really do anything because everything's protected, and they do prevent Arrow from getting food, but that's about it. Arrow does go up with a forward mid goal, This is going to be very nice because this mid goal basically secures this whole area with this town center and these 3 gold mines, as well as, well, these 2, and the Mista is just stuck with the one here. And yes, so what is the Mista doing here? The Mista is going up to heroic himself, possibly through Skadi. I don't think Njord is that common a god, just because frost giants are very popular, and the god power is not that good really. Well, the Skadi god power is very good as opposed to the Njord god power with the trees that just don't really deal any damage apart from crush damage, and they don't attack buildings, so it doesn't really make any sense. Now MG Arrow is heroic now. He did manage to take out the dock of the Mista. The Mista still has 1 dock left, and the Mista has a lot of fishing ships everywhere. And but it seems like the main fight is going on land now. The Mista walling in nicely, and he's trying to repair this wall, and just with 1 infantry unit, but it does prevent a lot of damage from being dealt. And yeah, sorry, people coming in, and yes, so it seems like MG Arrow, oh, he's casting Ancestors. He wants to possibly take out these production buildings and these towers, and then just win the game. And it does look like he's in a very good position. 74 population for the Mr. MG Arrow, 82. And how is he doing on water? It seems he's stabilized, and he's fishing again. All these production buildings are going down. There's only 1 elephant, which is a pity. Could have been nice to add in a couple more, but the Ancestors alone are enough to deal a lot of damage, and there's 30 seconds left on them. So if he takes out this building and the temple, I would have... Oh, very nice. Chariot Archers coming in and just attacking from both sides, and he's going to prevent this hill fort from going up. And honestly, if it wasn't the Mista, I would say MG Arrow just won himself the game. I don't see how he can really come back, but it is the Mista. We'll see if he can do something, and he still does have his god power. The Mista is at 84 population, though I don't think he really has much of a land army to speak of, and he's losing villagers here everywhere. And the frost giants are coming out now. They're very strong, as you can see, especially against strong units such as chariots, which cost a lot of population resources. And if they can just freeze chariot archer every once in a while, it can and then basically take once the unit is frozen, usually it's taken out, but this one is probably going to see another day. And yeah, it's just very strong when it's done on a strong unit, or a mythical unit such as this thinks. It's very nice as well. Maybe if you can freeze this elephant, that would be really nice. And it seems like he's actually going to survive. And what is he building? He's building frost giants, and that's it so far. Yes, he does freeze the elephant. He's probably going to freeze the scorpion man as well. Nope, he decided to freeze another unit. And he has to be careful not to lose this frost giant. I mean, it's basically all he has. And is, well, these 3 frost giants and some Ulfsarks. And if he's just going to lose them that easily. But it seems like the scorpion man is going to go down. And yes, it's frozen and it won't be able to run away. So that is nice. MG Arrow should probably try to retreat and place a monument down here somewhere and just defend, because he does have a decent water economy here. He does have his side. Mista has his side with really a lot of fishing ships, which is very nice. he should really not engage here. He shouldn't. He has dealt a lot of damage, but just not enough. And I think what is the Mista doing is he's not building anything in his hill fort. He should be building some yards or some. Well, Huskars aren't very good against an Axeman combo. Axeman, which is well all that MG Arrow is producing at the moment. So yes, he should be running away. This Frost Giant is going to fall, which is very nice. This War Elephant has to run away. It's just one unit, but it's so important for any fight, really. And yes, it's that push basically killed both players. Really, none of them really have anything left. And though MG Arrow's economy stayed pretty much untouched, but he wasted. Well, he used his 2 god powers and lost his entire army. So, and the Jarls are coming out now. They're very strong for Odin. And yes, so we're going to see what's going to happen. MJ are building up a force here. This, but as I said, I wouldn't engage. I would just, bunker, get this town center maybe, get a lot of gold, and if you're really in trouble, you can always spam mercs through this from this town center. And if an ISIS player ever gets to late game with fortresses against an Odin player, even if it's the Mista, he should never lose. And the Mista also won't really have access to gold, because from here he can always easily harass this gold mine, and the Mista won't be mining anything anytime soon. Okay, so the Frost Giants are obsolete now, I would say. There's just too many priests out, and but there's only priests out, and these Jarls are going to really do really well against this combo. So it would be nice to see maybe a camel or 2 out. I think MG Arrow, he doesn't have any resources. He should not attack this hill fort. It doesn't matter, just don't lose your army, because you still have a very big advantage, and you don't want to give it away, in my opinion. So yes, he's running back nicely. He has too many priests out. I mean, priests are a decent unit. Does he have the upgrade? No, he doesn't have. No, is that the upgrade? He does have the bonus damage, but not the cheaper upgrade. Because once the priests get just cost 70 gold, they just become so cheap. And then they do in masses like these, they do okay against, well, everything really. With the range upgrade, they have 21 range, which is huge. And they can heal one another after each fight. But still against cavalry they won't do great, but they'll do okay. But I think they need to cost 70 gold for it to be worth it. Anyways, anything else interesting going on the map? Not so far. MGA was still not going for a second town center. He's placing down a mid-goal now here, which is very nice, though he needs a monument. I can see already what's going to happen. If he tries to build this, Mista is going to frost this, and without a monument being there, he'll be able to do so, and he might lose all of this army, I guess. So picking off a Jarl is very nice, just because the Mista doesn't have that many units either. Ooh, that went quick. That's the advantage of having a lot of priests. Myth units don't stand a chance, really. And so yes, the Frost God Power does come in, and with a monument, let's see, he doesn't have any food. Why does he not have any food? He does have a lot of fishing. He would have been with a monument. This would not have happened, and this mid-goal would have gone up, and with the mid-goal going up, I think it would have been GG. But that's a lot of ifs, and the Mista, being the smart player that he is, he doesn't even worry about this army. He just goes for the mid-goal, because he knows that with their 99% armor, they're not really going to take that much damage, and taking out the mid-goal is huge, just because it's basically the one thing protecting this whole area. And if this thing goes down, there won't be any units being produced by Arrow, and this area is open for attacks. And it seems like the Mista somehow does have a very strong army out now. He does have great Jarls, only has the hack armor upgrade, but it's still better than nothing. I think, yeah, Arrow doesn't have any upgrades yet, but he was always low in resources, so that was to be expected. And yes, this does not look good for Arrow. His units are out of position. Mista's units are nicely upgraded, and his unit composition is just much better, just because Jarls and raiding cavalry counter everything that MG Arrow has on the field right now. So yes, I think this is starting to look very bad. MG Arrow on 80 population, the Mista on 126, and yes, there we go, MG Arrow giving up. And yes, this was a really nice game. What a comeback. I mean, as I said, any other player lost the game there, I think, just because the Mista lost all of his production buildings. He lost so much of his economy. He lost map control. All he had was, well, the Frost God power and two Frost Giants. But somehow that seems to be enough. Wow, very nice comeback. Anyways, I hope you like this game. Cipollini out.